Hi, welcome to YogaU. I'm Kristin Olson, and we're going to go over Revolved Triangle today, Parivrtta Trikonasana. So you might want to have a block handy if you're a little bit tighter. For those of us who are more bendy, this pose can be really gratifying, and I know for you guys who are a little bit tighter, have less joy with this pose. Okay, so we'll start standing. You can come with your feet about hips distance apart with the hands on the waist, and then we'll dial the right toes so that they're facing the wall to your right, and then hop your left foot over and up just enough so that both hips are squaring to the wall in front of you. And that means if you had headlights on your front hip bones, they would both be shining directly on that wall in front of you. Okay, so while we want the hips to be doing this, the legs tend to fall into whatever pattern is easiest for them to get the hips in this direction. So keep the hips here, but also press your left thigh bone back and pull up with your left inner arch. Now keep your right hip pulling back, but root down under your right big toe mound, because otherwise we tip to the pinky edge of the foot and this back thigh bows out. Okay, so the hips are squaring, press the left thigh bone back, root down under the right big toe mound. These are the legs of Parivrtta Trikonasana. We want to try to keep them as we come into the pose, and you'll probably see in a moment that they're not going to want to stay here. So we can start with the right hand on the hip and then take the left arm up by the ear. Keep the vigor of the legs, start to hinge forward, and pause when the torso is parallel to the ground. From here, take your left hand to the pinky edge of the right foot. If your hand doesn't comfortably come to the ground, then place it on a block instead. Now with the right thumb in the hip crease, manually press your right hip back so that you feel your right waist lengthening. Keep it there, and then pull your chest to the front, but the front center of your mat so you're not drifting to one side or the other. Try to keep the crown of the head in line with the tailbone. And that action of pulling the sternum, the chest forward, will lengthen the front of the torso. Now we've stabilized the legs, we've set up the spine, and we're going to try to keep all of that as we come into the twist. So when you're ready, lift the right arm up. And chances are the hips have gone askew. So while we don't need the hips to stay perfectly squared, we still want the intention there. So press the right hip back, press your left thigh bone back, even if your left hip is dipping a little bit. Then pull the chest forward, press down under the right big toe mound. Use all of this stability and length to twist a little bit deeper. Take 3 cycles of breath. Lengthen with the inhales. With your exhales, commit to the right hip and the left thigh bone pressing back, and then rotate open more. 1 more inhale. Now to come out of the pose, take the gaze down, windmill the right arm back behind you, and as it comes down, the left arm takes you up and around, hands to your hips, parallel the feet. And so that you can see it from the other direction, I'm just going to turn and have my left foot facing this way. Okay, so your left foot is now pointing to that wall straight in front of you, and the right foot is at about a 45-degree angle. So the heels are lining up with one another. And the reason we focus so much on the feet is if the feet are askew, it travels its way up to the low back and the knees. Okay, so square the hips. The hip bones are shining on the wall in front of you. Keep that work, but press down into the left big toe mound and press your right thigh bone back. Now keep your left hand on the hip, lift the right arm up. Get nice and long through the right side. With an exhale, start to hinge forward. Once you're parallel to the ground, release your right hand to the floor or the block on the pinky edge of the foot. Now notice what happened to the spine. Try to take the left thumb into the hip crease and pin the left hip back so you feel your left waist lengthening, and then pull your chest to the front center of your mat so you feel the front of the torso lengthening. Without losing this work in either the legs or the spine, take the left arm up. Okay, keep pressing the left hip back, Squeezing the right quadricep, pull your chest forward, and rotate open some more. And notice where your body tries to find the exit route, and focus on that a little bit more intently so you can pull yourself back into alignment. Then pull the chest forward more, rotate open. Take another inhale. Take the gaze down with your exhale, get steady through your feet. The left arm comes down, the right arm lifts you up and around, pivoting your feet. Okay, so hopefully you've learned a little bit more alignment in your Parivrtta Trikonasana, which will help you in any number of poses.